want to welcome everyone to today's working session of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. This meeting is being taped for playback later on WRPS and YouTube. The listings on the agenda are those matters reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permissible by law. Do I have a motion to open the meeting?
Motion to open the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Hesham is a yes. Mike Buckley, our new superintendent, is attending the meeting today. That's him over there.
Hi, Mike.
We'll do formal introductions and all that at the, this is just, so you know, Mike, is a working session for the commission. There's historically been a lot on our plate. We just try to keep up weekly with what was been going on. I think for a while we're gonna continue this, so you are up to speed.
Okay.
Make sure you're comfortable with it. A couple things I wanna go over before we get into any of the initial meeting. I was approached by, Taylor, the attorney from Sullivan, attorneys in Norwell regarding Harmon Golf Course, last week. They are thinking of adding a pickleball courts, or courts, 12 courts, to the golf course, which naturally will result in increased flow. That increased flow, I'm estimating to be around 3,000 gallons a day. That's the way through the Title V calculations that we use. Maybe less. The issue they have is, will that affect their new connection moratorium? This is not for real debate right now. I'm gonna put it on for an agenda. I'm just bringing you guys up to speed with the conversations we've had. I've told them that I wanna take a good look at the past file, which is what I'm looking at. What were they originally permitted for flow, what years it went in. Off the bat, I'm gonna say, I don't think it's a hard push, you know, with given what the flows are. If it's definitely not a new connection, it's an add-on. The problem we'd have is with the flow. And what I wanna do is get into the regulations on, the 11-1-4-1, does it apply to increased flows, yada, yada. I don't think it does, but I'd rather err on the side of caution with the EPA than burn a bridge, so.
Yeah, I think the thing to look into is that it's a new project, it hasn't really.
Right, that's what I wanted to say. I wanna make sure I've got a handle on how it should be viewed and approached.
It's just an add-on.
Huh?
Just an
It's an add-on, but you gotta remember, even an add-on is an add-on to flow. Now, right now, we're pushing, I checked it earlier, it was 3.7, right now it's 3.4. Remember, when you look at that, it's not the influent that we're really concerned with, it's the effluent, what's going out that line.
Right.
There should, and I'm doing this for you, that there should be any given time, and our meter is beaucoup screwed up, so it's not accurate. If anything, it's higher, but.
The outflow meter?
Outflow, yeah.
Wow.
Because it's the way it's buried in the water. But, where you look at the influent, always add on 300,000 gallons, because that 300,000 gallons is what's in process in the tank, in through the cycle in the building, before it's discharged. So you got, say you have 2 million coming in, and there should be, 2 million coming in, but there's another 300,000 in these walls,
Oh, in the tank.
in the tanks and all that before they go, before it's
Right,
discharged.
right,
So
right.
that's where you gotta, look into that. So that's where I was with Harmon. And so when we look at that, I wanna make sure that, like I said, we're erring on the side of caution. That's one of the things I wanna talk about, and I'll get into the other one later in a second. I'm really sweating out tonight with the rain. The last report I heard, and I called up Taunton Weather at this end, we could see 2 to 2.5 inches of rain here in this area. But then you tack on the snow melt, the snowpack.
You were talking 4 inches.
They're talking some places 4 to 5 inches.
Yeah.
But we're
here's
looking
2 or
right in
3.
here, anywhere from 2.5 to possible 3 inches of rain. So there's definitely gonna be, the Godwins are gonna be running, there's gonna be, there's gonna be issues, we're gonna be pushing 5 without a sweat. But my main concern is what's coming in Saturday. If we don't have the time to process a lot of this stuff, I think we may be looking at another SSO. Sewer system override. We had, historically, so you know, we had one in 18, one in 19, and we had 2 in 23.
Wasn't there one a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago?
No,
It was-
in March.
Yeah,
March is when
it
we
was
had.
spring.
We came close, but we never hit it.
Oh.
Sewer system overflows is when you treat partially treated discharge. You have partially treated discharge water going in there because you just can't hold it.
Well, right, I thought that happened, I don't know, I thought that happened maybe a couple of weeks ago when
No.
there was.
We were able to contain it.
Oh, okay.
We were able to contain it. It takes a real heavy storm to do that. And I think the combination of these two storms, it may be that we may luck out not, but it'll be definitely a luck deal. If that's the case, I don't think you should, if there's any power outages like tonight and tomorrow, I don't want you worried about responding. I'll take care of that because you got enough flow right now, and Rick usually handles those. We wouldn't be doing the filing till the morning, but you'll get a good insight of what this place can do or not. Okay, now for some potentially, I think, what I'm gearing for is some bad news. We touched base on it last week on the budget. Sherry, you do a remarkable job in the immediate need, which is great, but I gotta kind of look out long-term and we shared it. I'm worried about fiscal year 26. What I've done is I've called up Frank Occhipinti and Kevin Olson. What I want to do is push out the stage 2 of the upgrade, and let me finish before I go too further. Push out the stage 2 upgrade 8 years. 8. Reason I'm saying is that I'm worried about these, I'm losing track of words. The
Clarifies.
clarifiers.
Yeah.
If we have to bring that into the stage 1, okay, that we're at 15 million, that may make it, they got quotes of 1.6, let's figure 3. So that would push us to 18 million. But what I don't wanna do is devastate the residents with user rate increases. So what I'm gonna ask them to do is I want them to push out, I wanna see 2 different scenarios. Push out the stage 2 5 years and 8 years. I'm leaning more towards the 8 years. And I wanna see where the revenue curve lies versus expenses, projected expenses. What I don't wanna do is hit the users with another rates increase. So if we can hold it at the 10% yearly
Keep doing that.
and pushing the major expenses out, we still may have enough to keep the place going and well within our budget. So that's,
Accommodate
so you know the
repairs.
conversations I'm having while we're on budgets. And I'm gonna bring that up at a meeting. Any meetings that you have with Scott, Doug regarding budgets, ARPA,
Mhm.
capital planning, I'd like Mike included. Okay, so that's all I had for the real bad news. Let's talk about, let's put it off first. What we have here that's not on the agenda or other items is the contracts for the digester piping that requires signatures. So we'll sign these today. No one leaves without signing them. Everyone's gonna be awake when they sign. And we'll get these processed. Chris Kenny's already approved them, Scott's already approved them, and I've approved them. When this gets signed, that's when we can call in Wilkinson and we can have a chat.
So who signs it? So the board, sewer commission?
Board signs them.
Signs them, okay.
For now, yeah, you will be signing them in the future, I believe. No, the board has to sign them, because we authorize them. So, you can't leave until they're signed. So, let's get down to today's business.
Just to continue with that is what Doug is waiting for to send to ARPA.
Yes, ARPA. So once we sign these, we can give Doug his copy. Wilkinson gets a copy, we get a copy, and I don't know who else gets a copy, and Scott gets a copy.
Doug, who?
Lapp.
Doug Lapp, who's
Oh,
our
the-
town
The
administrator.
town administrator, okay.
Ask a lot of questions as we go on. The MEPA filing, aside from Mike Duval, MEPA filing is for this is the public response from the sewer commissioners to the Massachusetts Environmental Planning or Protection for the base. The public filing, the public comments are due the 11th. We're gonna email ours in tonight, putting you sign it. First of all, have you all seen it?
Yes,
You have any objection to signing it?
No.
Okay. I'll give you a copy. Did I give you a copy? I thought I gave you a copy of it. If not, I'll give you a copy today to read. What I'd like to do is get that signed now. This is, so you know, Mike, what they have proposed is the base. Because they're saying that they can put, we're only gonna contribute about 400,000 gallons a day today to the system. And bottom line, they feel it can be met with I&I reduction. They're gonna help us with I&I reduction. Not gonna happen. We can't even find the amount to satisfy current needs. Never mind, Rockland needs 500,000 gallons of extra capacity for the future. So the MEPA filing, the MEPA plan, they don't approve or reject the basis plan. What they do is they look at it, what they wanna do or what they're proposing to do. They listen to the public comments that they receive, and then they'll give them what they feel are the remedial options to follow.
Who's they?
The base developers, the Brookfield right now.
So Brookfield's the environmental contractor for?
It, no, Brookfield is the overall developer. The vendor of their subcontractor that we'll be dealing with is Tetra Tech. They're handling the engineering and the infrastructure part of it.
so MEPA gives the remedial, like, requirements?
Yeah, what they will say is, okay, here is the, we've looked at your report, we've taken a public and comments, and here's what we want you to do.
Meaning the town of Rockland?
No,
I don't
meaning
understand.
the feds, the EPA.
MEPA tells Brookfield what they need to do.
Right. This is an
Are they-
environmental filing with the EPA.
And are they mandated to do that?
They're,
To
they can
follow?
they can come back and say, we'd like to talk to you about it,
Okay,
but that, what the EPA will give them is a starting point. It's not
okay.
really negotiable, it's a starting point. So there may be some concessions there, but EPA won't back off on what they want. I prepared a draft for the board has had 2 chances to review it, along with, follow-up attachments that I'll give them. I'm not gonna send the attachments. The attachments are available on the department website. I asked Robin to go through and make sure that everything was signed. And there were only 2 documents that she had on file that weren't signed, and one was the 2021, 2023 moratorium upgrade. We've signed it, but she didn't have a signed copy on file. I wanna make sure that anything goes up in that website has our signature
Yes.
on it. So. Just for the record, this was previously approved and signed back on September 28th of 2023. Last page, please. Okay, so the attachments I'm giving that I'll read into the record, the Wright Pierce Comprehensive Facility Assessment, the Massachusetts General Permit. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a copy of this one.
Okay.
The US EPA admin order of 206, the admin order of 2022, sewer commissioner letter of commitment to the EPA for the administrative order, copy of the 2023 sewer moratorium, so that they know what the current regs are for us. I gave them a new connection project list, which shows that we potentially owe the EPA 1 million gallons. I gave them copies of our sewer system overflows from 18 to 23. They have a copy of the final CWMP. On page 207 of the MEPA filing, there was a comment under their public comment meeting, public comment from previous a previous filing by D17, is how they identify the commentators, or the people who submit a comment. And one of them was regarding a wastewater plant, and I quoted the response that was given out of that, and I'll read it just so you know what I'm talking about it. That the question was, what about building a wastewater treatment system on the base site? And the EPA replied, geotechnical analysis of the base, considering the existing PFAS plume and the Navy's groundwater treatment proposal, restricts potential groundwater discharge or facility being built on the base property.
So we can't build a wastewater treatment plant and we can't discharge.
That may be, it may be up for negotiation, but I don't think it is.
Can we build a plant but not discharge
We
groundwater?
cannot build a plant.
Not even a
In fact, not even a plant right now as it sets.
So voted.
Okay, so that's the way it stood back in 2015, 2016. They may come back. And unless, I'll be honest with you, unless they've done significant cleanup, I'm all for sticking to that, because I don't want PFAS and solvents coming into the system that we're potentially liable for. Many years down the road, should we have a break in a pipe and it gets into any other groundwater or potential home. I want no, and again, that's up for vote when it comes to that, but I think it's something that we really give serious consideration to. And while we're on the subject of the base, it is my opinion, not the board's here, because we haven't discussed this yet. The base wants to have a meeting with us, with the board, as soon as possible. If you remember, we requested $15,000 for engineering support. They said that check should be here on the 15th of January. Now that $15,000, what I asked for, they wanted to meet with just the commissioners. And I said, the commissioners is fine, but I want our engineering group with us, that we've done all the work. That group being Veolia, Wright Pierce, and Weston Sampson. Especially Weston Sampson, historically, they've done a lot of work for the plant. They know the infrastructure, and what I agreed to do, I wanted to wait until the MEPA filing was done and they had their options from the EPA, because I don't wanna talk to them about I&I remediation as an option. It's a waste of time. I think they're reaching. What I'm willing to do, and it's up to you guys to agree, if they wanna come in, and I don't wanna waste our engineering money, but I'm willing to have a 2-hour meeting with Veolia here, Weston Sampson, Wright Pierce, the base, the board, of course Mike. It has to be an open public meeting, but I will absolutely restrict public comment. To have the engineering companies, give them an update of where we are. I don't even wanna talk about what they can do for us, because they don't know what they're gonna do for us. And if they gave us a projection of 400,000, I think basic need, and looking at long term, we're looking at a minimum of 1.2 million gallons without the EPA in 1101.
Is that a day or a year? What is that?
A day, 400,000 gallons a day.
Wow.
Now, that's nothing, that's a drop in a bucket. That equates, that 400,000 gallons, so you know, would equate to 3,600 one-bedroom homes, based on Title V, that's it. It wouldn't account for any retail development, commercial development, industrial development, or municipal support.
Okay.
Now remember that municipal support, municipal don't pay sewer and water bills, but they still need water. They're still gonna discharge. MWRA right now is not an option. The MWRA completely pulled that off the board for wastewater. Pending the MEPA filing, they may change, but right now that's not an option. So
in other words, the base can't connect to the MWRA?
they can connect for water, they cannot for wastewater.
Wow.
Now there's one plan on, they have 2 options that would affect us. One is that the Abington side connects to the Brockton wastewater plant. Now that's good for Abington, it does nothing for Rockland. Rockland cannot. One of my proposals would be tie in the Rockland side of the base, but help us with I&I. These are all the things we can use for negotiating tools when we get down to it. But to commit now to any kind of plan is foolish. If they're gonna say, okay, just think of this, if we're gonna go with a discharge plant, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna find a receiving body to take the water. If you can't do that, you're gonna find an adequate groundwater disposal site, which does not exist on the north end of town because of the reservoir,
Yeah.
zone A.
Mhm.
So, that's the ball they're in, and what I don't want them coming in is giving me all kinds of song and dance, saying, okay, we could do this, we could do that. What I wanna do is say, okay, take your facts with you from the engineers, here's where we are, that's a realistic picture. Now you heard it from the horse's mouth. I don't wanna waste our $15,000 talking to them on nonsense. When they come up with a viable option for groundwater or for what they think they can do, come on back in. I don't think the MEPA filing will be ready till, knowing the way the EPA moves, March, April, probably as late as August.
Months.
August, so we got beaucoup time, and what I want them to do is really, that's why I conceded to that, or I wanted to talk to you about conceding to that initial meeting, so they have all the facts, get all their questions out of the way, and have a firm understanding of where we stand on new connections, and what we have in front of us. Okay? If you disagree, let me know.
No, I don't think anybody's had that conversation with them
No, they haven't.
that I know of.
My concern is that there've been conversations with them outside of here that said, yeah, I&I
Yes.
is the answer. I&I is not the answer. When they're looking at I&I, so you know, they were looking at the total amount, and they quoted the metering study of 1.2 million gallons of infiltration and 1.89 gallons of I&I. And they ran with it. What they didn't realize, and what they do realize, and they're trying to slough it off, to be honest with you, pull the wool up, there is not 1.2 million gallons of infiltration out there. At one point, they have 915,000 gallons of base infiltration. That other infiltration to come out to the 1.2 is based on additional theoretical engineering calculations on potential rainwater impact based on historical storms or what have you. So you've got to treat the base infiltration because that's our realistic number. Okay. Now, remember also when they did that when they did that metering study, it was in June of 23 when it poured out. So that's inflated. To give you an idea of the infiltration, that report stated in zone 6 and 11, there'd be almost 300,000 gallons of I&I, 280,000 gallons of I&I we could find in those two zones. We went back in September and October and cambered it, checked the manholes, ran some really looked at it, and they only found a potential of 80,000 gallons that could be repaired cost effectively. Now, we all know the historical rates is probably what they base on is a 50% yield, so even if you look at a plus, if you look at 40%, it's not cost effective to go after. So what I propose to the board is that we put off until the weather, as soon as the weather cooperates, and incorporate zones 9 and 13, which has another potential yield of 250,000. Hopefully we can find a cost-effective yield of 120 to 100,000 gallons to remove. And I believe we have the funding for that. So that's what they're doing. They also quoted that we can go after the inflow, and that's also a crock, because what you gotta realize that 95% of the inflow is sump pumps, and 95% of the not 95% of the sump pumps, 95% of the inflow is on private property. It's residential sump pumps, it's drains from roofs, and etc. So the one thing this board has always been cautious to do is, I'm gonna say please, it's not just me, and if I heard anyone say I don't feel that way, jump in. We do not feel that punishing the residents is an option, and punishing the residents one, you can't take away sump pumps. There is got to be a viable sump pump program out there that we have to investigate and look at. But sump pumps are not the answer to the base's problem. Sump pumps don't exist on there, so they'd have to come out with a program to say something that would intrigue me, I don't know, the rest of you, that say, you know what? We'll pay to get, for those residents to get off the sump pump and help them discharge appropriately. Well, that's great, that's a starting point. But it still doesn't treat your wastewater, still doesn't give us 500,000 gallons of extra capacity. And if you think I'm out of my mind, any one of you, tell me, please.
No, you're right.
So that's really it with the base right now. So if the board approves, rather than wait for the MEPA filing, which could be August and September, might as well keep the ball rolling and keep the conversations rolling. I would like to propose that we schedule an open session with the base so the whole board can attend. An open session with the base to discuss with our consultants, just an overview of each of them do a 1/2 hour PowerPoint presentation of where and what they have done up to date, leaving us a 1/2 hour, maybe an hour for discussion after, then cut the meeting, because I don't wanna cut into that $15,000 deeper than I have to. So I'll make a motion that we schedule a meeting with with Tetra Tech, the base representatives, and our consultants for the first 2 weeks of February.
Okay, I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Ms. Hashian's a yes, so I will schedule that. You'll be, and this is the things the board has to do. You are copied on everything. You'll be at every single meeting. So.
Sure.
And a lot of the final decisions are gonna be based on your recommendations, but you're just getting caught up to speed now, so don't feel bad. We had a discussion with Mike yesterday on initial responsibilities, and Robin and Rick and Megan were present, and I think we how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, so, again, you know, obviously I'm excited about the opportunity working for the sewer commission, very excited. What I've been doing right now, obviously it's my second day here, it's, you know, it's gonna take me a little while, but I'm 100% in. Robin has been pretty much going through with me, she's been training me. And I guess I'll continue to be trained by Robin, if that's okay with you, or
Yeah,
okay with the board.
what I had envisioned, and I need, here's where I need the two of you to jump in, because we've been doing it.
Right.
I think, honestly, the primary focus for the first week and the first month should be the administration side of the job. In the facility combination. When I
Right.
say the facility, I'm talking the facility, and the administration side. When I'm looking at the administration side, I'm also looking at the timing for town meeting and budget. So I'm looking at that as part of the administration side of it.
Okay.
And I think the next month, that'll be very cumbersome.
Right, so what I'd like to do is just stick right now what I'm doing with Robin training me. I just attended the department meetings. After I get a little active with doing the grease trap program, I'm starting that, I'm gonna do that.
The what?
Grease trap.
Grease trap this week,
The grease trap, yeah.
so I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that, and what's the other one, is it?
The IPP
Yeah,
program.
the IPP.
That
So I-
needs a little cleaning up, and I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be his responsibility.
Right.
You may as well build it around him.
So I probably figured, you know, if you give me a couple of months, and then obviously I'm kind of excited about doing the finance, that's pretty interesting, I don't mind doing that. Then I could maybe jump into that, but I'd like to compartmentalize it and do one thing at a time,
Okay.
if that's okay.
No, that's perfectly
Because
good.
that
yeah.
way, if we all go together at once,
You're gonna be screwed.
I'm not gonna know.
And you know why? We learned that the hard way.
Right, so I don't wanna, if it's okay with you,
It's
I
fine.
shouldn't say I don't wanna do it, I would prefer if we, you know, start here, I get good at it, and then say, okay, just like when you're eating.
Start to layer it on.
Let me
Start
think,
there,
hey, Mike, that's
layer it on.
exactly how we
Okay.
progressed, and that's
Yeah.
how we got to where we were. Except we were thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
When I'm saying with the budget, Nat, I'm not saying for you to digest it and do it. All I want you to do is observe
Yeah.
and listen. But I think you should be involved in those meetings now, because you're gonna have to do it next year. So you might as well get an idea of what's involved in it. Time-wise, maybe an hour, if that, right now, because Sherry's gonna take the crunch off you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take the crunch off you in the roads. And again, I told you, and I need you to, I hate to say use me, but I want you to, I'm a resource to you every day, every hour, every minute. And if you got a question, you call, you want me in here, I'm here. You learn at your pace,
Right, that's what I'm looking to do, exactly.
Because-
So when would I start to work with you then, or oversee you? When would I start doing that?
Oh, she'll call you.
Well, yeah, whatever's convenient and however you wanna start handling it.
Yeah.
So, let me tell you where we're at right now. Town meeting is in May, when all this gets voted on and has to be done. So, they have asked for our capital planning, these are documents that I gave you, and we can talk about them all.
This right here?
Yep.
Okay.
So, they've got the capital planning. The next task is to submit our budget, that's what you're looking at there, which is something that I wanna discuss with the board today, so we
Yeah.
can get that in. And I think technically it was due Friday, but, you know.
Yeah, I know, and
We
I'm
get-
taking some things. I
We get a
gotta
little
look at.
wiggle room on that. The prep work for all that has already been done. I met with Rick and Megan for the capital planning. We sat down and said, you know, what are things that really need to be done now? Robin and I sat down with the budget and kind of looked at what's been happening the past year and making projections best we can. So I'll send that on to town hall.
What about the capital planning meeting?
The capital planning meeting is scheduled for, I believe it's January 21st. That's an evening meeting, it is on site at town hall. We meet with the finance committee and they look at our 5-year plan and just get a feel for what we're doing and what we're expecting.
And again,
Require.
it's strictly an observation. Really, meaning what I'm trying to do is just so you see how things work in a municipal environment.
Right. Right, well, the only thing is, so, again, so after you're saying next year I would be doing this on my own with no backup and no help?
I'll back you up.
Oh, no, we're here.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I got you
Listen,
back.
when you get this-
100%.
Oh, okay.
Listen, the
100%.
board is here, you're gonna be you're responsible for the day-to-day operation, all right?
Right, no, yeah, but I don't mind doing this.
No.
Yeah.
We hopefully are gonna get down to a meeting once a month and to go over this stuff, but we will be overlooking that budget constantly, we'll be up talking about it at our meeting, so it'll be nothing that's thrown
Okay,
at you.
all right, well, yeah.
Yeah, you'll.
Now, this
be
right
very
here,
familiar. Yes,
The Excel, is this this is an Excel spreadsheet, right?
yes,
Can I get this electronically?
you absolutely can. Yep, I have it and I can send it to you.
Okay.
What typically happens is our town accountant gives us last year's actual, where we are to date,
Fiscal
and
year.
this year's budget. And we threw in an extra year. He gave us 22, I don't know why, it was a little, so we just make an adjustment to make it work so that we can project what we need to do.
So this right here was fiscal year 21-22, 2,457,000.
Yeah, last year was fiscal year 23.
Yeah, he's looking at the column on the
Okay,
page, is
okay.
22, yep.
So $2,457,750. Okay, that was for
Revenue.
FY.
21, 22, so
That's
it
the
runs.
revenue. That's the
Yeah.
revenue for the sewer.
Yes.
Okay. Actual, all right, sewer department total, okay. And then these are the salary, these are the,
Expenses.
expenses, yeah.
Mhm.
So are the
Again,
receivables
you'll
on this
learn
too?
that, you'll go over that.
They are not.
Which is
They're
what,
not broken out in here.
okay, here, I'm glad, that's a nice little slide in for what I wanna do. We're in a very financial straits here. I hate to keep going to them, and I hate to keep saying it to residents. But we owe them a clear picture of what this business is operating. I'm gonna keep referring to it as a business, you know. Any spreadsheet that I had to look at for any of the divisions I used to oversee, I wanna see revenues, I wanna see expenses.
Mhm.
I don't wanna see combined like last year's public and town meeting. I wanna see a spreadsheet with our revenues, what's coming in for the sewer, what's going out for expenses. I want the I want the residents to see the whole picture.
What you're suggesting is we need to request from Scott our annual balance sheet.
Yes, and I want that to go into the town meeting. That's what I wanna see. If it requires an article for the next year, I wanna write an article that is included in the future. But I would like a copy of our complete balance sheet to go up in the town on our department website.
So I don't know if he actually prepares a balance sheet for the sewer department.
Well,
I know he does it town-wide, and we are
okay,
looped
find
in
out
there,
for me,
so
but I want
I'll have to do a little
something,
research on
I
that.
want something that we can show the residents, actual revenues, actual expenses.
Mhm.
I want them to know exactly the shape of the sewer department, why they're paying the rates they are. Okay. I mean, I don't think that's fair, I think you guys are taxpayers. I would like to know, okay, if you're hitting me with an increase, why? Well, I don't wanna just say, well, here's our expense, I wanna show them, here's all we got coming in. I want them to see the whole picture. They never had that before with the sewer department. The sewer department's in tough shape because it was kept behind closed doors.
Right, so that information really should be in our annual report,
Yes.
kind of a letter
I
to
didn't
the
see it.
residents. And it's always been a summary of, well, we did this project or that project.
I don't wanna see that.
I think we did this and we're planning on doing that.
Well, I already have the
Goes
annual
back to-
report written.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a jump on it because we knew
Yeah.
we'd to have a monkey wrench thrown in here. So I wanted to get that out of the bay, you're gonna die at bus balls, so don't ignore
Okay,
it.
that's a good.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get a jump on that, so right now I'm at a point just plug and play with it, right?
Mhm.
So I would like to include that, if they don't wanna put that in the town, you know, the town meeting in their budget presentation, I want it somewhere that the residents can see it, and I'll put that in my year-end report,
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
yeah.
I really
No,
think,
I
I
Well,
think
think
it's,
it's a
I
good
think
idea
it's
too,
needed.
you know what, because if, so I live in Middleborough, and if you're saying, hey, look, you know, we need, I don't know, $500,000, $5 million, whatever it is, this is what we got coming in, this is what we got going out, you go, well, why do you need that money? Well, look, we're in the red,
Right.
you know, how you want us to run?
I see, that's something they don't see,
Yeah.
we did a rate study, it was going back last year, and I think you saw the rate study. And I tried to put out enough information on it, I put it on Facebook, yada, yada, and we had like maybe, I think 12 people show up for that presentation on Zoom. But when the rates hit last month, well, I got phone calls and people were, you know, upset. Say, look, it was out, I said, if you want an explanation, come down and I'll go over it with you.
Right.
But you know what, they have nothing, to look at, and I think they need that, so.
And then the other thing too, it might not be a bad idea, I know this is more work, but what about doing what does it cost taxpayers in the surrounding towns?
Right.
So
Well,
got
we already did
our
that.
Right.
We already did that. That was in
the
the rate
highest-
study.
There was a comparison in the rates.
Was
So are we the
highest.
highest?
Huh? No,
No.
believe it or not, no,
No,
we
we're
we're
were,
lowest?
not.
No,
And
we're
we're
not
not the
close. We're
lowest.
right in the middle.
We're kind of right in the middle.
Alright, so that's
But-
pretty good, so we're not the
Yeah,
highest.
so-
no, we're not the
Yeah.
highest,
It's
but
not.
what you gotta remember something, is what we're looking at is the upkeep of this equipment, it's been neglected and it keeps hitting us. I knew, for example, the clarifiers, back in 19, whatever, there was another storm and I saw the concrete literally lifting.
Yeah.
Told me, it's valve ain't working. So we looked, I had structural engineers, it was a street fight to get them to include that,
Yeah.
the wood. We had a structural, the clarifiers were one of them mentioned, in there, the facility study said something, the first draft came out, it was in the summary that says, Rockland should have a contingency plan for when, not if, they have a catastrophic failure. The thing that was the if were the clarifiers.
Right.
It looks like that if is starting to show its ugly head, which is why I'm saying, we gotta reevaluate this upgrade, but that's, I don't know, but this is the things that people need to see in black and white. People don't attend these meetings, so they'll go
No,
by
this
word
is
of
what-
mouth,
Right.
and they'll say, well, you heard Ron, go look at the report, there is your black, there it is in black and white.
You're gonna have to have another fair down here.
Huh?
Hot dogs and hamburgers. And pony rides to show
No,
you.
no, but I think, like I said,
I think it needs to be a communication with the residents
Yeah.
on what's happening around here and what the needs are.
But
yeah, I am not worried, like I said, I'm worried about next fiscal year, but I think we got enough to squeak by, but with the moratorium and the flows the way they are, next year, we can't bring in any major new connections, which is our major revenue source.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at, so that's what I'm saying, okay, we'll push that out,
Make some
see,
adjustments.
but then, the other thing we gotta make sure is that we're not doing what happened in the past, keep putting out the inevitable. But in the meantime, we got some room to plan, we got someone to possibly look for future grants to help us for emergency repairs, maybe, things of that nature.
So what are you saying, Chuck, we're shit out of luck?
Yeah.
Close
We're running
to
out
it.
of time.
Close, we're
Yeah.
close,
Huh.
we never give up.
No,
It's
we
not
don't.
supposed to be a joke.
No.
Was taken as a
Right on the
joke.
money, right on the money.
I was taking it as a joke.
Okay.
Well, you haven't even signed
All
my
right,
side
so-
of it yet. So why don't we stick on the next agenda is the capital planning.
Okay.
Oh, no, let's finish up with Mike. Okay, Mike, do you have anything else that you want? As far as time, like I said, and I thought I shut you off. Town of Rockland. Good afternoon. Yes. Allison, can I call you back? I'm in the middle of a meeting, but the reason I answered, I was hoping it was you. Okay. Okay, honestly, I think I found what I needed, but I'll call you right back. Bye. This is a face ago.
I have a question. So Chuck, didn't you tell me there's gonna be a meeting, a Zoom meeting on Thursdays?
Okay, no, there's gonna be a monthly meeting this month, January 25th,
And that's a
Thursday night, 7 p.m.
Right.
Is gonna be on Zoom. I'm gonna leave it up to you, and I leave it up to the board. Do you want our monthly meetings to be on Zoom in the evenings? The pros of that, more people can attend it, they can't say, oh, we didn't know, we can't attend. We talk an awful lot about an awful lot of money. To me, and if we offer the opportunity to be public meeting and they don't wanna Zoom in, don't blame me.
Oh, I know, I agree, but I meant, does it have to be on Thursdays?
I can go Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, Wednesday,
Wednesday's better?
yeah, Wednesday's better. No reason why, and I don't mean to be,
No.
so Thursdays, typically my daughter comes over on Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
That's more important.
That's more important.
No, but again, I mean, I just, I
No,
don't, I
no,
just.
no. This is
Wednesday's
just,
better for me too.
okay,
Is she
so.
sure? You sure?
Does you cook for it too?
Huh?
Does you come over and cook your meal?
Yeah, right, yeah, right.
Okay, I'll change it to Wednesday the 24th.
I really
And future
appreciate
meetings will be, okay, and here's where I was going with that. Our monthly meetings are usually held on Thursdays. We have the option of Zoom or in person. The plus to the Zoom side is that more people have the opportunity to attend. And we can put up overheads and PowerPoint present and anything else we need, any information they need. The other is 3:30 in the afternoon on Wednesdays, which is more convenient for Rick and Meg. But you know what? The superintendent could get their information and deliver that too on evenings.
If they can't make that.
And speaking of the monthly meetings, you won't be doing it this month, but I've been doing the project updates, and what I'll be re-including in the meeting that I used to have as a superintendent update. You'll be doing the project updates, but for the first couple months or so till you're acclimated and fresh and comfortable with them, and again, you're gonna tell me
Okay,
when you wanna
so
take over.
it would be, so the first meeting.
First reading now, we're gonna, okay, let's keep it focused on, the next monthly meeting be Wednesday the 21st,
Okay,
4th, 7 p.m. on Zoom.
so January the 24th.
All right, 7 p.m. on Zoom. The decision we all have to make now and be part of it, Mike, is do you wanna continue with Zoom at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, or do you wanna have it in person? For now, the board is gonna continue with their working sessions in person. I think through town meeting anyway. And we can take it for there.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be in a position that we only have monthly meetings in the summer, maybe
Right.
June and August, or June and September.
So now how does that work? Do I get is there a link or, so will there be an email
You
with a
just go
link?
on Zoom, yeah, there'll be emails with links to Zoom and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, it's all-
Tell you how to
You'll
log
decide
in.
it's all
for Zoom.
provided.
All that's
Download,
provided.
download
I
Zoom.
publish it's a commissioners meeting, the commissioner posts the agenda, which I have here to discuss with you guys, if any of you wanna add, subtract. I submit it to Robin, who submits it to town hall, and they post all the Zoom information. Usually it goes up on the website 48 hours in advance. I don't know why, to me, they have them a week before, they should put them up, give everyone a chance to see, but I'm gonna be putting a blurb up on Facebook.
Okay, but what I meant is, so if it's gonna be on the 24th, will I get an email a week or so, or a
Oh,
couple
yeah,
of weeks before?
you're gonna be, I'm gonna be talking to you every day.
Okay, with all the information, the
Yeah.
link, okay, cause that's my computer, I can bring, okay.
Yeah,
that's
no,
good.
I'll be talking to you
Yes.
every day, and you can zoom in from home.
You will have it.
Oh, you're using your own computer?
No, so the town gave me that computer, I got a new computer
Mhm.
that I'm using, so I get my emails, I already have my emails, I sent Chuck my information.
I'll send them out to the two of you.
So I just wanna make sure that, whatever the link is, I'm gonna put it in my calendar, that every Wednesday.
You won't get that link until the Friday before, Thursday, Friday before.
Okay, well then, so what I'll do is I'll just put it in my calendar.
Yeah, put it in your calendar,
Just
and
so I know.
I will give you the
Yeah.
information, you won't,
Yeah.
Okay,
I won't let you off the hook,
All right.
you're gonna be there.
alright,
Yeah.
so,
We'll take you up eating,
And the link is usually on the agenda
Yeah.
when it gets
the
published.
final agenda.
alright, but usually, so a week before the meeting, we get an email with a link?
Yeah, we say that a week before, but you'll know, because we're gonna be talking about it every day.
Okay,
Hey, don't look at the
You won't miss
dates
it.
or the times. The times, they screw up the times all the time.
You won't miss it.
alright,
So
so I
one
just,
day, it says the meeting's at such and such time is wrong. He has it corrected.
okay,
Okay, like I said, the main thing, Mike, is progress at your pace.
okay. So it's
as far
gonna
as-
be,
go ahead.
so the 24th is this meeting in January, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So the next February, what's the next meeting? Is it gonna be on the same day, or?
Oh, no, it'll be, usually I
It'll
give
be
you a
on
month,
Wednesday.
okay, February,
It'll be on a Wednesday.
Is it the third?
well, I'm gonna change it for
Oh.
February, it'll be the third Wednesday.
Oh, third Wednesday, okay.
Yeah, I have it down, I have February 22nd, Thursday, I'm gonna change them all the day before to Wednesday.
We could have that the 28th,
See,
29th.
here's what I do, look, here's what I do, I give you the whole year in one meeting. Right there.
Okay,
So I'll just change these dates to a Wednesday.
okay, great.
So again, the most important thing is progress at your pace.
Okay.
Now, he attended the department head meeting today. There's an infrastructure meeting this Thursday. I think personally, I think you should blow it off.
Okay. That's what
The
I'm-
reason being is, like you brought up yourself, you got a lot on your plate, focus here. They're gonna be getting into the nuts and bolts of it. There's no sense you jumping in now until you get a better feel for it.
Okay,
But again, I'm gonna leave that up to you, you're a big boy,
No,
if you
okay.
wanna go, I would not be coerced from anybody to say, I think you should attend outside this room. That's up to you to make the decision.
okay. So one of the meetings, one of the things that during the board meeting was about flags, different flags that we have on the property. Like, they were trying to prevent, the LGBT, they wanted to have it so it wasn't the LGBT or the other different organizations on, they just want to have like the American flag, the POW, etc.
Oh, yeah.
Those types of flags. So
Yeah.
on this property, on the wastewater treatment facility, do we have any flags right now on this
I think
property?
we do have one. And, no, I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
I don't think so.
So we don't have any flagpoles?
No,
Okay, it doesn't matter, okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't object to one flying out in front.
no.
Right, like one.
But my problem is, it would have to be inside the gate, because I
It has
don't
to be
want,
lit too, with the nighttime.
Oh, it does?
Oh,
Yeah.
the American flag has to be lit.
if you're in a municipal property, they should be lit.
Okay. Well, so they were just asking about the
You know
flags.
what, there's another expense, we don't need an additional one.
Well, so they were asking about that, and I said I wasn't sure if we had any
No,
flags.
we don't.
So, okay, then it doesn't matter.
Again, okay, so I'm gonna, last time, your learning pace, Mike. I mean,
Okay.
you tell us when you want interjection from the board.
All right.
With that, I'm gonna turn it over to Sherry for, before we leave today, I wanna go over other agendas. But
Okay,
right now, it is, capital
Okay.
planning,
alright,
opera,
so
accounting.
we have,
Stay away, 'cause I know
I
this.
did-
I know.
here it comes, yeah.
The door's open, that door's
Alright,
closed.
this one is a list of this year's
Yes.
expected articles to go to town meeting. And they cover the capital request plan, or the control plan for I&I. I pulled that out and moved it to a capital request, and I'll tell you why. The funding for these items comes from our bottom line retained earnings at the end of the year. So, we have a budget. I originally had put this in the budget. That is supported by the taxpayer rates.
So the taxpayers for the town of Rockland, a percentage of their tax dollars comes.
I think the user fees. My
User
mistake.
fees.
Okay.
My mistake.
Rate
User
fees.
fees. rate
We
fees,
do not
user-
get any tax
There's no
dollars.
tax money involved. What I did,
Okay.
I moved the annual control plan funds from the budget to a capital request.
Okay, question for you on that. How does that work? We get, and again, I'm talking out loud, we get a connection fee. Part of that goes to an I&I fund, retained earnings.
That stays in a little checking account, that does not get rolled at the end of the year.
Okay, got ya.
We budget 300, this year we budgeted 300,000 in our budget, a line item
Right.
budget for fixing the I&I, which we know we don't have enough to go after this year.
Right,
So we were gonna take half of those funds and do another investigation.
right,
That's gonna leave that half of money at the end of the year, will drop down into the retained earnings.
right,
This is how I'm gonna get it back. the
okay,
annual
done, okay, understand.
I know it's
No,
way
I still don't
complicated.
understand, so where's
Way
the money come from? I still don't
Comes from
understand.
user fees.
We have user fees which support the
So is
budget.
that user fees we already have,
No,
or is it, or is that user
Let
fees?
Sherry go to it.
Okay,
The budget is supported by, user fees quarterly for what they use in sewage rates.
okay,
We also have other revenue that comes from building development projects. We charge them development fees,
New
we
project.
charge
Yeah.
them I&I fees, that's,
but we're not
Those
allowing
funds.
any, we're not allowing any new,
Right.
Right.
okay,
right, and that's where the crunch is.
right,
Those funds are, parked in a revolving account, and they do not roll down at the end of the month into retained earnings, those are just always there.
This is why I said
These-
municipal's gonna take a while.
It's wacky,
so are you saying that we're
self-supporting.
spending money, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, we're spending money we don't have yet?
No,
Oh, okay.
No,
That we're anticipating on getting?
no.
and that's what
Well,
I
that's
do,
what I
is
don't
make sure.
understand.
I-
I
it's
make
gonna-
su- I
it's
look
gonna
at
take a
what we
while.
have,
Okay,
I look at what we have and what we need to spend the money on.
Okay, just checking.
And try and project
Okay.
it that way.
Everybody
So
go,
we're
you
not
got the code,
spending
go
money.
with it.
okay,
Hey, look at this year, they compliant.
okay.
It's gonna take a while. That's what I said. It's a different world.
And Mike, when you're ready, just give me a call and we can come down and spend the whole morning on this. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was wacky.
Well, it sounds interesting, but, because
It's very interesting,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
So-
gonna ask any more questions.
No,
No,
Mike,
ask all
I
you
want
want.
you to ask, that's all.
but, so these are the articles that are gonna go to town meeting that get
Okay.
voted on. We have to request the funds from retained earnings,
Retained earnings,
or what's left over from our budget.
okay,
Alright, so we have our user fees, we have our budget expenses, whatever's left over is our retained earnings. That funds articles for the next year, any little special projects that are not part of our normal budget.
okay,
Is that? Because we're increasing the rates every year, the attempt is to build up those retained earnings so that we can support plant upgrades.
right, which is gonna be, what is it like? Well, what's the,
50 million,
40, is it
50 to
50
80
million, 40 million, how much was
Yeah.
it?
Okay, we're
In
getting
that
ahead, so.
neighborhood.
Okay,
What-
yeah.
what- The entire upgrade on, the facility study came back in 2020 that it would be 48 million.
That's what I have.
Okay, That 48 million was without the tertiary phosphorus system.
Okay,
That added another 15 million to it.
okay,
When I went to the Board of Selectmen to tell them what I anticipate the upgrade to cost, I spread it over 10 years. I said it's gonna cost 80 million, meaning I don't have a crystal ball to tell you what it's gonna cost 10 years from now. I know based on historical, it's gonna be at least 75 to 80 million dollars. They had heartburn over that. How can you say this? Just look at your cost of living now. I said, we can't fix the cost now. That's what I'm projecting we have to do. I gave that $80 million figure to Weston Sampson to use in preparation of the rate study. So now going back to that, that's what I'm saying, I'm gonna go back and reevaluate that and go out. But that's what the facility study came from, that's what the number was.
now that's, cause I don't know if I've got it that far, is that in the CWMP?
The CWMP will tell you, yes.
The
Yeah.
8
Yeah,
million?
what we need to do, yep.
What the CWMP also includes that the facility study didn't include, which is not in the upgrade, is 13 pump stations. And if you read that for CWMP, they're saying that could be another 12 million. All right, but I'm not looking at that now. There's sufficient right now. That's a small piece of the animal.
Okay,
But the bottom line is, we do not receive tax dollars. But for us, the residents, I think they're gonna get it through their mindset when they go into town meetings. Your sewer bill and your water bill is a tax, because you gotta pay it.
Separate.
So when you, people going in for all these new projects, you know, don't bitch at your tax rate to sewer and water, because you should have considered that. So if you're going in for, and I'm not shooting any project, I'm just telling you the way it is. Like when they proposed a new school, that was another $400 a year on their taxes. Well, that didn't include, your sewer rates are also gonna go up. So people gotta start looking at.
yeah, but
That's what I'm
nobody
gonna
does.
push at.
Right, but no towns do that.
No, I
My
know that,
town doesn't do that.
but I want
either.
the
Right.
people aware of that.
Right, but they should. They really should, that should be.
And that's what's
included.
gonna make you hated.
That should be included, because what are you gonna do? That's something you gotta have.
You gotta
People
have
don't,
it. You gotta
people,
have it,
people
yeah.
don't use that in their rationale when they go into town meetings. All they see is that, okay, it's gonna be funded this way. You forget about the other stuff, your sewer and water's gonna climb, water's gonna climb.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so,
Okay. So that's why, so are we okay with moving that annual control plan as a
Yes.
town article?
yes,
Digester recirculation pumps, that was from Rick's contribution.
right.
The,
Now, if, excuse me, we're only doing one, not two,
yeah,
correct?
25, yep. The phosphorus tertiary upgrade construction, that's 12 million. That is on here, not that we're requesting the 12 million in funds, we're requesting the town authorization to go out and borrow it. As per Doug Lapp, that requires town authorization to make that loan.
Okay.
50,000 is the pump repairs, again, that's.
So one thing I wanna go on that, when we borrow that 12 million, there's gonna be interests on that.
And we'll see that when we look at our budget, because I.
And I had that interest also included in the rate study, projected interest, so.
50,000 pump repairs, I put 35 for the underground tank removal, and 75 for the new heating system. That is a
Is that
2-year
here?
project for the, yes, for these buildings.
Yeah, Rob was telling me today that the heating system on that side doesn't work, or
Yeah.
sometimes.
Because
something-
the heating
something
system
small.
on this side in the lab, so.
Okay.
Yes, so that is half of the system for these buildings.
Okay.
And the other half will be the following year. We're gonna come back to the primary clarifiers.
Yes, I wanna, until I get some
We need
numbers.
to come back to that. The Monahan Rink fees allocation. Monahan Rink was a skating rink that got built, yeah.
Right next door.
No, this is a different rink.
Okay.
We have 3 rinks in town?
3
Yeah.
weeks.
Crazy. But anyway, at the time it was being built, we were charging them the development and I fees that I spoke about. This was the first time that we were establishing those accounts, and they were not set up at the time that the fees were paid. So they rolled into our revenue, our regular revenue, and got rolled into the retained earnings at the end of the year. These development and I fee accounts are supposed to be revolving accounts so that we can start using them to fix the I and so forth. So this is a request to pull it out of the retained earnings and put it back in our revolving accounts so that we can have access to that when needed.
And to alleviate your poor brain at this point, remember, you're not alone. We're here to help you through this. And we will be here daily. That's why you have a board to support you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we get different cones with a ball in it, trying to find the ball in the 3 cones.
I think of it more as like interlocking circles all over. Yeah.
Okay.
Other items that are not monetary, we are considering a 5-year contract extension for Veolia.
Yep.
And our town charter only allows us 3 years, so we have to get approval for that. The sewer ordinance, we need to add that to the charter.
I'll make sure I wanna go back into that Veolia contract
Go
with
ahead.
you. Not now.
The sewer ordinance, through a series of events, it was discovered that that was not actually recorded in the charter. It's all there and it's been there since 2011, but signatures and filings were missing, so that will fix
And that's where
that
the state
situation.
law comes in. If you have, like, the ordinance was proposed at the town meeting, the people vote, yes, we want it, okay? It had to go into the Attorney General's office for approval, well, somehow, this place was a shit show. Nothing got signed. So therefore, we came on board and said, okay, we want a little flexibility we wanna make it rules and regulations so we can adjust it as the situation comes in.
Right.
We passed it, we adopted, we did all the changes we felt necessary. Come to find out, the original was never signed by the Attorney General's office, so it's gotta be resubmitted for vote, then it's gotta go in and get signed.
So the original document wasn't even signed?
Wasn't recorded
Wasn't
properly.
recorded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so as we started digging into it, we were finding all these things.
All right, so,
So that's kind of a recap for this year.
and then what about this
Our
350K for inflow and infiltration remediation?
That is a line item, budget line item. But because of the dollar amount, it needs to be noted on the capital plan to go to the finance committee. Anything over 50,000, they just wanna know.
So it goes to the finance committee, they either approve or not approve it?
They don't actually, well, that's a great question, because they questioned our plans last year and we gave them the details of what all these things mean. But because we're self-supporting, they don't have a lot of input to what we're doing.
So they can't
But-
say no?
No, basically not.
Basically, no. But
Okay, so-
I think,
We're following a procedure, that's all.
yeah.
Right, so they can't say no, so then, where do we go?
But we
We go
still
and
just-
borrow the money?
No,
No, it comes from
earnings.
our earnings. That's where, because we're self-supporting, we're a little different from the other town departments, but they still wanna put all the departments into their big plan, so they know what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's why I said treat
Comes from
this
our-
as a separate business.
Yeah.
You are
It's a
a
business.
total independent entity from town, for now.
So
Can I go back
let's
to that?
talk
Go back
about the
and-
clarifiers.
Well, let's stay on your budget for now.
Well, that's it for the capital plan.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna shut that, cause I need him awake.
Got that door.
Okay, before you go on, buy Veolia,
This is the capital plan that goes to the finance committee, and it just gives them a long-term view of what we're doing.
okay, before budget, can we just stick on one, this is just
Yes.
food for thought for you. Our original contract was with Suez. Suez, as you know, was bought out by Veolia.
Yep.
They bought out last year, so the renewal is this year. I did a little research on how Veolia operates. Veolia being a large, what started this, I think it was common sense, okay, Veolia is a larger business, larger overhead, yada, yada, it's gonna flow. shit goes downhill. What I found out, they have from previous operations, they've increased sometimes up to 17%. If they come back with that,
Do we expect that for the FY '25?
I think they're gonna try their damnedest to go, they will go up at minimum, in my opinion, 8 to 10%.
But I factored in at 7%.
Is that for
Well,
5
we can
years?
hold them that, say, okay, you know, stuff like this, what we
next year.
factored in, and
Really?
if not, I go out request for bid again.
For
You
next
don't
year.
think it'd be more, and I'm just, this is just
Throw it
coming
out.
off the side with, you know how crazy everything is. You wouldn't think it'd be more like 20?
Who did,
A 20% increase?
with them,
Yeah?
I'm projection 17, so we're not too far
Yeah,
off.
right, I mean, I would assume it's gonna be at least 20 with the way everything's going.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm projecting as well, so you and I are on the same
Yeah,
page.
yeah, it's gotta be.
However, I'm looking at their overheads, you know, yada, yada, I think we have room to wiggle. And I don't think they, with this economic climate, they want to lose Rockland after being here for 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's, I think is gonna be some serious negotiation going on there. I intend to sit with them one-on-one and say, okay, let's talk about it, this is up in June. What do you, I told Rick, I already told Rick I wanted some numbers.
So,
You gotta keep that in mind, is all I'm
so
saying.
for the budget, I estimated a 7% increase.
I would hold it,
With a note that future could be anywhere between 15 to 17%.
I would hold that, I would
Is
hold that
accurate?
figure.
So isn't it better to go a little higher and then come in a little
I don't,
lower?
we don't have the money.
Well, I
Do we,
understand that.
do we wanna make it 8%?
No, leave it at 7. Because we go with that, that's what they say. If we have to go back and revisit, we go back and revisit it. Let's wait till they make the first move of the commitment on, let's let them make the first move before we change anything. I'll try to schedule a meeting with them sometime, within the next week or two.
Right, because that's a big increase and that's gonna.
Oh, that, no,
factor
there's no way they're gonna get that increase,
into
but I'm
Think it's
saying.
double?
Into the usage.
Hi, Richie.
I forgot all about it, I'm sorry.
Go, come on in. You're
Oh,
ready
you're
what's
just
been
in time for
burning,
the
we're just
budget.
talking about you.
We're just talking about.
Come on in, don't shut the door, sit down, because we gotta keep it, why don't you sit here so you can whack them.
Which one, him, down there, that guy?
Every time they close the door, it gets hot.
What we're talking about is the budget, and we're talking about, the Veolia contract coming up. That we've gotta put a number in for next year's increase, so what I'm gonna say is that I would like a meeting to line up with Mike.
Yep.
I think you and I should chat first.
Yep, sure.
Why don't we chat and bring Mike in the loop, chat about it.
Yep.
And then set up a meeting with Mike. Is the regional manager.
Agreed.
I
Was
need
that-
some.
Was that the guy that was here last time, the ball guy?
I don't believe.
No, Mike wasn't in, no.
No, he didn't show up for that meeting.
What we need to do is we have to submit our articles for budget, and I wanna have an idea where they're coming from, and they have an idea where I'm coming from.
Yep, agreed, agreed.
So you and I tentatively talked, we're gonna meet this Friday and chat.
Okay,
If you can get below your life preserver.
yeah, I know, we're all,
They go to Wall Street.
yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, they're saying anywhere from 1.5 to 3 inches.
3 inches, I called Taunton, and that Taunton was saying that they're predicting 2.5 to 3 inches in this area.
What's going on right now? What's the MGD?
So right now, everything's 3.7. That's not good.
Oh.
The only is,
3.7 right now?
3.7 coming in the plant right now. It just hasn't, over the weekend, with that
Oh,
snow and the
smoke.
rain and all that, we ended up getting about an almost inch, 1.4 inches.
And they
Yeah,
go
Yeah, now
that's
you, now
Saturday
the
or
big
Sunday,
thing is
you know?
what you've gotta realize, if we get
Crazy.
this rain tonight,
Crazy.
the snow, additional snow
Oh, yeah,
melt,
right.
and then Saturday,
And
That's
Saturday.
another one.
Oh, it was supposed to happen Saturday.
another
Another
heavy
rainstorm.
rainstorm, heavy rain.
Heavy one
after that.
See, that's why I don't think we're gonna get much snow this year because of, I think because of all the rain. I don't think we're gonna
Alright,
get much.
we're getting a little sidetracked here, you know, other than here, so,
Yep.
we need to talk about contract for June.
Yep, now I know they typically will come and talk to you, I mean, like I said, I'll have the CPI number. Usually it comes, and I get an email and I go sign on, it's probably by the 3rd week of January, I'll have the CPI number based on what the contract, but again, I'm not sure that's when you wanna sit down with.
I want to sit
Mike
down on
Burke.
that, and then there's some insight that I have on past Veolia acquisitions and what they do, and I wanna make sure that we're on an even keel before, I don't wanna wait till the last minute, and if we're
Yep.
gonna.
Yep.
All right, so that's where we are. We went over the pumps and all that, and now we're gonna go over clarifier.
Yeah, so, I know we've talked about this, right now, I know we're gonna talk around the 16th. You know, what do we do with the funding? Do we back off a little bit on the tertiary? Do we just keep plowing ahead on the
Okay,
tertiary?
number one, we-
Yeah.
we are not backing off in the tertiary.
Okay, so-
Tertiary backing off is out of the question.
Okay.
I'm not going to the EPA with that.
Okay.
EPA, we're gonna.
That's what I thought too, I mean,
Okay.
like I said, those are just things that.
No,
engineers
but here's
can-
what I'm doing, here's what I'm proposing we do, so you know where I'm going, I told him briefly. I got a call into, Weston Sampson and Mike,
Okay,
and Kevin Olson. What I'm looking at doing is pushing the stage 2 out, I'm looking at 5, 8 years down the road, so
right.
the big thing is we can't impact the residents,
right,
but we need that money for the clarifier.
Yeah.
So what I wanna do by pushing out the stage 2, where does that leave us in the revenue? But
that's,
I think we have to bring the clarifiers into the stage 1.
okay, yeah. Yeah, you just don't know, like I said, we got the final clarifiers.
And
that's
I'm not gonna
another-
go put a
Yeah,
Band-Aid on
yeah.
it, only have to redo it down the road.
I know.
So
No,
if
I
we're
know
gonna
that.
do it, we're gonna do both, in my opinion.
Right,
Have we done any, so is it possible to do boring samples in the clarifier to see how the concrete is?
Already done.
yeah, there you go.
I had had
Not
structural,
good?
I had
Not
my
good.
structural
Yeah,
engineers.
they can actually see through, I don't know, I forgot what it's called, the makeup of cement,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
I had structural engineers go through that with a fine tooth comb, because that was,
So they're not good.
we saw the concrete lifting.
Yeah.
I once saw him back in 19, and I had that deliberately included in the facility study, to add a structural engineer. So that's all been done, but there's more to it, so not just the structure, it's the chains, the arm, it's,
Right.
if we're gonna do it,
We just gotta like pick and choose carefully which project we're gonna go after,
Yeah.
that's the problem. You know, and who knows what else is gonna go in the meantime.
it's
Yeah.
been neglected for so long, and now
Right.
the reality's hitting them.
Now, was that study done, is that in the CWMP?
It's included the analysis, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Alright.
Yeah, they looked at everything, the whole plant, all the tanks, condition of the tanks.
And CWMP looks out 30, also says 30 years.
Okay.
That's why, usually what you do is a CWMP first, because you gotta have a big plan.
Yeah.
Then you do a finite facility study to tweak the CWMP. I opted to go the opposite, because this place is in such tough shape.
Hmm.
I didn't think it was gonna last this long, which would scare me tonight, it's a generator.
Yeah. I know.
We lose that, the
It's-
power.
It's working.
Will she kick?
Say that, it's working right now, that's all I can say.
Okay.
We
So
might have to get
what-
an emergency generator down here.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so
What pieces are included in stage 1?
stage 1 is the phosphorus, tertiary phosphorus, and the electrical upgrade,
That's generator being out 18 months.
and that's part of the generator.
And that's,
Generators.
and that's what this debt bond is, and you want to add clarifiers
What I
to
am,
it.
what I wanna do is get some preliminary numbers, which hopefully I'll have for you by next week, of adding in the clarifiers. Which I think, if they get down, you're out of it, we're screwed.
Any part of it, system goes down.
And just so you know, Mike, the clarifiers, when they drained them, they're actually leaking, we had groundwater coming in.
Water seeping through.
So that's how
Really?
it's through. So here's the other thing on the clarifiers. Now, the clarifiers, when they're full, you got the pressure holding back.
Right.
But that pressure is greater than the groundwater, so I don't know what seeped out. So when they do the clarifiers, I am gonna request soil borings around the perimeter.
What's depth to groundwater over there?
5 feet,
Yeah.
4 feet?
Yeah.
Really? So you mean, so it's pretty shallow, huh?
Yeah, we're in a,
Right.
It's a foot and a half over there, anywhere on that, from that plant, side of the plant, if you went right out to that corner and went this way to right about the clarifiers here, when they did the facility thing for this tertiary system, it's 1 to 2 feet right here, if
So I
not
wonder why
shallow.
the hell they built the plane here, I realize you got the river there.
Lowest point in the town.
Lowest point of the town, gravity fed.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true, right, but still, but
We
groundwater
have,
being
we have
so
an
shallow.
offline tank, that's, they're offline that we use for our high flow management plan that, when that's not running, it looks like you got a garden hose on very slow.
Yeah.
It's groundwater. And when it gets to a certain point, we just pump it down, send it back up to our headworks.
That's why, because my previous life, I was heavily involved in the MCP, Mass Contingency Plan.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that outside those tanks that there's not soil contamination.
Of course there is, I used to do when I was with Weston Sampson, NCP
So
work, yeah. of
that's
course.
why it's not in the contingency, it's not in the CWMP, it's not in facility study. But when he told me 1.6, that's why I said 3, because I'm planning on doing soil borings. And I think there's gonna be groundwater, it's gonna need soil excavation.
So for stage 1, do you have any breakout on what the costs are?
You know what, I owe
Just a
you that,
minute.
I'm gonna send you, as soon as I go back to my office, I'll send you the email.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll send you-
I'm saying if he, let's use his rough numbers, 1.6 million, I'm saying
Right.
minimum 3 to
Well,
5 more.
Well, where I'm going with this is that we're about to go to town meeting for authorization of 12 million funds.
That's why, right, and that's why I'm trying to get it
Is
to you
that-
quicker.
Yeah, so is that going to possibly
Yeah,
change?
yes, it might change.
Okay.
And that is a budget number, that's all, they keep emphasizing that, it's a budget number, so, like
Yes.
Chuck said, it'll probably be higher than 1.6.
It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be high, but like I said, I need his email,
I'll forward it.
and then I've got to talk, my main thing is I wanna look at the rate study.
Yep.
And Mike, have I get you have a cards yet, or anything like that? Just give me your email, I'll forward it to you too, so you're in the loop.
What's this?
It's just a quote that I got from the primary clarifiers,
Oh, yeah,
so
sure.
I'll send it.
But that's
to you.
one thing I did wanna go, any
Yeah,
emails,
I'll have an email.
so make sure you CC me on for now, I mean, it's not that I wanna overlook, I just wanna make sure there's a lot of irons I have in the fire. I wanna make sure we're not repeating, spinning our wheels.
Okay, so,
All right. So I was going to go and request 70,000, that's where we started with the clarifiers.
Well, no, I'd go,
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna take that off the
you
list.
could take that up in
because-
minimum 1.6.
Right.
Yeah, and we're not gonna get that. That's not
That was
that's not a
That was
request,
basically doing some basic work to them.
right, but
now
the
we're talking about-
1.6 is not a
Yeah.
request that I can make.
Okay, don't
to-
tell me.
to fund
No,
this.
now we're talking about a full
So-
overhaul.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
talking
difference.
4 million,
Yeah.
but,
Put that up.
Oh my
yeah, I'd say, right now, I'd say 4.
Like I said, Chuck,
Could you
like-
slide a piece of plastic down here to me?
You can't seal, it's not worth sealing them.
Really?
Sealing,
Yeah.
a lot of the sealants they use in pipes are stronger than the pipes, but you're talking a very corrosive environment,
Mm.
especially when you deal with concrete. And the technology's changed so much,
I know.
so let
Can you read that?
them go from scratch. Let's do it right. Do it right the first time.
Did you say the clarifiers are gonna run 4 million?
Yes.
Yeah, I would bet, yeah.
Or more?
And again,
I
I would
don't know.
say
Yeah, I understand, it's all
I have no idea.
guesstimates.
how many
at this
clarifiers we
point.
talking?
2.
So the ones out there that we're not
Well,
using?
we're not even talking about
I'm not even talking those.
down back, yeah, that's a whole
We
nother,
have more than,
yeah, it's more money.
Oh, okay. Oh, the
Primers.
Primers.
rectangle,
Yep.
The
correct,
primers.
correct.
not the circular.
Correct.
Oh, the primers.
The circular's more money.
okay.
I would love to see the circulars done, but like I said, right now,
Yeah.
Yeah, cause we could actually use the, those.
well, I think we get more bang for our buck doing the circulars, because my feeling behind that is if we could do the circulars, we could hold more solids.
Right.
By holding more solids, there's a lot less a chance of us bypassing to the environment with untreated wastewater.
But
Right.
the problem is, if you don't get it done here,
True.
you impact down there.
Yeah, true, so.
So, I mean, it's, you gotta remember, Mike, what they did is they robbed Peter to pay Paul in here. What they did, it was that they take development fees, that was supposed to find I and that, and the previous superintendent, me and John, had to keep this place running. And they wouldn't let him replace, so he had to repair. So it was just, like I said yesterday, I don't know how these guys did it.
They band-aid everything.
Don't know how they did it. I mean, you don't have to be, if you have any engineering background, you walk through here, you just go, yeah.
Well,
Now we're at
you
the
did.
point- Yeah, we're at the point now, we need a major.
Now it's no
Yeah.
no
So
pushing
Joe-
it off.
I just don't put it up.
No joking.
Okay, Sherry, where were you?
Okay, I'm done with capital requests.
What about ARPA?
What about it?
What about it?
What's your question? So,
Are we
In your package.
meet
All right,
all?
you don't
I
need any
have-
truck, I'm right in the middle of something.
No, sure, just, I'll plan on Friday.
Sounds good.
What time you want me here, 10?
Whatever, yeah, whatever, that's for you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
What time you going swimming? What time's the pool open up?
Yeah.
can we look at, let's finish the budget first?
Yes.
And then we can talk about projects, which I know you'll find very interesting. So, budgets from last week's discussion, the highlighted items are the things that I changed or made edits to. Got some various information from Scott, the town accountant, on cost for retirement and indirect charges and stuff like that.
Where are you?
I'm just looking at highlighted
Right
items
there.
here. Yeah, that column will be next year's budget. Drainage, last week I didn't have anything in there, cause I didn't know what was going on,
Yeah.
so I threw in 75. That's a
Drainage,
complete wild
no.
guess on my part.
Okay, drainage, that's gonna be a subject of a meeting in February with Dave Taylor. Technically, under the town charter, the drainage falls under the sewer commissioners. Dave took it over in 18, the charter was never changed, however. But we see bills after the fact, so we don't know what to bill for.
It's
And
kind
then
of
we
a
get hit
shared,
for overage, yeah.
it's a shared.
It's supposed to be
thing.
shared between highway planning and sewer,
Sewer,
but I haven't seen
but
planning
it's-
budget any for drainage.
It's very nebulous,
So we gotta figure that out.
so I put in 75, I'm not sure.
What do we have in last year?
We put in 100,
No, make it 75. We
That
simply don't
was
have the money.
Drainage?
for drainage.
Yeah.
So previous years, I believe it was at like 50 or 75. Last year, Dave from the highway department suggested we increase the cost. I'm not sure what the reasoning was, but he had some project in mind. So now I just put it to.
You see, we don't know, and that's
We don't,
coming out
because
of
I
our
don't have
budget,
the
we wanna know.
information. Last week it was at 500, but because I pulled the annual control investigation monies and put it to articles, I've dropped that down to 400, which covers the 350 for the rehab and 50 for the police detail.
Wow.
And again, if we don't spend it, then it drops into the retained earnings at the end of the year and funds next year's little special projects. Or
Now,
it sits in our bank.
And that goes back to for what happened this year, we had money allocated for investigation and repair. Well, we only investigated, we found we didn't have enough, so now we're gonna use some money for another investigation,
Second.
and that'll roll over.
Okay.
More monies from Scott, and then debt and interest payments, last week I did not have the figure.
More money from Scott, say that again.
Insurance premiums.
Oh,
I did
okay.
not have a figure from last week, so I added that. And then 90,000 for debt and interest payments, and if you see, it's 15K was our current payments that we've been carrying all along,
Plus 75.
plus 75 for the note that we're carrying now.
Your bond unpaid for land upgrade. Okay.
Okay. So it's over 7.5% increase in our expenses.
What's this encumbrance? What's that?
Scott says, it does not get budgeted, cause it goes from the previous year and carries forward, so I have no idea.
I don't even know, what does that word mean?
I don't.
Anybody know what that word means?
Encumbrance, I believe, is expenses that you pay
Encumbrance.
this year from,
People
that
just
were,
make the word
that
up.
were incurred
Incurred last
last year. Yeah.
Say that one more time?
An expense was incurred in a previous year that we are now paying for this year.
This year.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why the increase in legal?
Again, I think we have some projects that might require some legal.
Okay.
We can certainly drop it down if you want, I mean,
What was the question again?
legal.
Chuck?
Why is legal
services.
increasing?
if you look at
Oh, okay.
the previous 2 years, they were quite high, but that was also, we had some expenses with dealing with the EPA and getting legal opinion on that.
DTE approved, okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, in this case, we still have our, you know, EPA report and whatever may come from
Sundries, what the hell is that, sundries?
sundries. That pays for the shades and
Oh, okay.
stuff in the building.
Any large expenses, okay,
Yep, and all
okay.
gets put into.
And again, you'll get used, it took me a while, you're gonna walk into this nonsense. I mean,
Okay.
it's,
Emergency fund, so what's that mean, like?
That's
the ends cookouts.
when we need an emergency generator.
Okay, so
That's just,
we have a hurricane and the roof blows off, something like that?
That's
Yep.
insurance.
that'll be insurance, but in the meantime, you gotta pay that guy to come out here and
Right,
put
so
the
that,
tarp on.
okay, now I get it, okay.
Yep, so that's just money right there.
Okay.
Why it's that weird number, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing, that was my next question.
Robin and I talked about that, and we were gonna round it up, and I said, no, we're just gonna leave it, that's what's been carried. That-
Yeah, why not 86?
I
Okay,
I agree, it's a weird number.
all right,
Anything else?
no, pretty interesting though.
It is. And whenever you want, let me know, and I'll come down and spend time.
Yeah, no, I
And can
appreciate that,
answer
yeah.
every question you have.
Oh, don't worry, I'll have a
And,
lot.
Ah.
and again, you've got to, that's why I'm saying, the other meetings and all that might blow up. Focus on this first.
Yeah.
All the rest of that stuff is gonna be there.
Right, but I mean, I think it's a good idea that I go to the department, like the meeting I went to today, the department
Yeah.
heads. Yeah, I should go to that. But the other meeting that you said, yeah, I mean,
Infrastructure.
yeah, I'm not gonna.
That's gonna be getting into nitty gritty, you're gonna have to you got a significant learning curve to even go through to figure out what they're talking about, where, you gotta know the town.
Is that on? Is the cameras on, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're right, no, I agree.
Okay,
All right, you had asked about ARPA, so based on last week's conversation,
Yeah.
this is a little thing that I devised all by myself.
I'll find out also.
I'm trying to track these major projects that we have
Okay.
and looking at the funds that we have and project whatever expenses that we still need to pay and do we have the money for it.
Yeah.
So the top section shows the contracts that we need to do for this project, what we've paid, and then assuming that we still have to pay the rest of it.
Contract budget paid today, pending due.
And
Okay.
we do,
So
so,
we haven't paid yet, okay?
right.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting that we're gonna have to come up with that money.
Okay,
The second little section shows me what I have. These numbers are mid-December, so it will change again.
so this is 351,169.
That I expect we still need to pay.
Okay. And then ARPA funds, 500K, was that 500,000?
So originally it was 500,000 that was pledged,
Yeah,
and according to our town accountant, we have booked 521,000.
Just checking.
So we just have to reallocate that money, we don't.
so that's why we got a
That should go like
negative
this.
21K.
Yes.
Okay.
However, last year, in our articles, we requested additional funds, that's the 2141. So we still have 33,000.
Okay,
So that's, we'll pull the 21 out of.
yeah,
The I&I fees, last week we were gonna use that, pulled it out because we are only gonna use half of that for investigation too. And we can afford it in our budget, so we have a total of 362 available. We expect, I'm projecting 351 is still due to be paid, so we might actually come out with 10 grand.
so positive.
Mhm.
And that's with the ARPA articles 21 and 24, 21 and 41?
Yeah.
All right,
And our line item budget for this year.
less due, okay. Okay, well, that's good, so it's positive. Okay.
So that works out a little better.
Good.
After our articles are, after this, we'll have another from the fees of that rink that never got posted. That'll fall into here,
197K?
Yep.
Okay,
so we'll have that next year for use.
so it'll be 2025,
Yeah.
okay.
The next project is the digester piping. We're right,
Digester
we're
boiler.
right there. Yeah, it's causing. Alright, so the piping went way over any figure that we had ever anticipated.
Yes.
Yep.
We are going to use our revolving account for development fees that have been received already from other projects to make up that deficit. We were planning on using part of those fees for the asset management program with highway. So that's a shortage in there that we have to look at. But it does cover the piping. This, using those funds to cover the additional contract cost for the piping, was discussed with Doug Lapp, the administrator, and Scott, the accountant, and they are on board with that too. So that's what's going to be submitted to ARPA. And that's the contract that he's waiting for.
Okay.
Why is there two? Your digester boiler, Holland, digester boiler Wilkinson, why is there two?
The digester boiler was done first, and that project is pretty much complete.
So
And
that's
Hallam
for
did a
Hallam.
lot of the design work.
Oh, okay, so
Hallam
what-
and Wilkinson, there's a, I don't know, there's a relationship
Right.
there that I haven't
are they,
figured out.
they're independent?
Yeah.
So what type of work did Hallam do? What type of,
Hallam did the design,
oh, okay, and Wilkinson's gonna actually do the,
physical
Okay.
install.
I believe so.
okay, interesting,
Okay.
alright.
And again, I'm projecting out. Now, you know, you bring that up, and we had a contract with Hallam, and I see, you know, X number of dollars paid. Is there still that little bit left owing? Because if not, that puts us in a better position.
No, it's not.
It's not, okay. So this is not due.
We are, the boiler is closed.
Okay,
So the 8530 is the
so
contract,
that puts us to the good, because I'm looking at it as a future expense.
See, that's, again, why we gotta keep, you know, in the loop, because I've got a lot of irons in the fire with that. And I miss a lot that I need, that Sherry picks up on. Hey, stay away. So,
So that
Okay.
puts us to the good, that's helpful. Generator, that's fresh, kind of a fresh project, and that's
Yep.
right on track. Those are using ARPA funds. We had 500,000 that was pledged. The actual generator itself is not going to be received here until the fall of 2024.
yeah, that long?
Yes.
was a 60-week lead time, we got a, excuse me, it was 68-week lead time. Then we found Wright Pierce found the program that we get into that cut the lead time down to 55 weeks. You can't get a generator of that, so you go to, you know, like Home Depot and get a generator, but one of that size.
What is it, we get it from Kohler? Or we get-
We looked at Kohler, Caterpillar, we're getting this one from Cat.
Oh, nice, nice.
ARPA, Plymouth County is requesting that we obligate those funds by June of 2024.
So in other words, pay the bill.
No,
Yeah, or, well,
And
have,
get it on the
have
books.
contracts and, you
have
know, it's
everything
all-
signed, sealed, and where the money is going to actually go.
So we don't have to cut a check to pay the bill, or?
Well,
If we do, that comes right out of ARPA, but
it comes out of, it comes out of the ARPA money, but we have the purchase order for the actual equipment, which has been sent into ARPA. So
Mhm.
that part is obligated. But now we've got talking about the installation, which is still
and the reason that got a
Out.
little funky is because
when.
the installation's also gonna tie in with the stage 1 upgrade. So it's not just wiring a generator. We gotta do an electrical plan, engineering and electrical diagram, of how it's gonna tie in.
But to keep those funds from ARPA, we have to obligate it. Doug is gonna request an extension.
No, which I'm sure he'll get.
Documentation, yeah.
Okay.
So, however, he did have a suggestion. And you know what, I'm just gonna let you look it over, because he's thinking, that we go out to bid now for the installation.
We can't go out to bid for the installation because
I leave that part to you guys.
the installation is nowhere near, ready.
Who's doing the installation?
I would table that for a meeting on the 16th when we have all the parties involved. because you have to have, how is it gonna, that's a big dam, how's it gonna tie into the overall system? You can't go out to bid, cause we don't know.
I don't know, but Chuck, you also got that email, so.
Huh.
I'll leave that to you guys.
We'll bring that up on the 16th.
Alright, so back to our projects, we have Spruce Street. Last year, we requested as a capital plan, 100,000 to rehab the Spruce Street pump station.
That's
Contract came in
ongoing.
at 112.
You'll be kinda weaning into that in the next couple of weeks, just checking it out so you see what they're doing, not, again, pick and choose what you wanna get into.
Okay.
Contract came in a little over that, but we had another article for miscellaneous pump repairs, and again, Doug and Scott are on board using that to make up the deficit on that.
Okay.
So that's covered. I put the asset management with highway project in here.
Okay, whatever.
That will start to come into play probably February, March. And I've asked Dave Taylor from the highway department to give me more information on it, you know, what's it gonna cost us, when do we need to pay for it, and so on. But that's got a bit of a shortage on it, so we're gonna have to figure something out.
Okay, then you got the CWMP.
Yes.
CWMP, there's no balance, everything's
Everything's
closed.
great. All right then, see, we are not in the hole.
Damn, wow, that was expensive, huh?
Well, you gotta remember, the CWMP, well, you weren't here, the CWMP, we had a price allocated, well, we were gonna meet that. Then part of the EPA order was, they want an upgrade to it. They wanted more info, so we had to do an additional scope of work, and I think there was another $150, almost $200,000.
Holy shit, so 2024 rate study review, 17K.
So that
Wow.
we're still expecting to do. That's this year.
Rate
Leave it
study,
down
the
to
billing
look
is
at the-
closed.
No, this is for 2024.
2024.
In the summer, they're gonna look at our 10%
No,
increases
so
and
you,
make sure,
no, it's gonna be the end of this year,
yeah,
they're gonna do it, and that was part of the original contract,
yeah.
so should be no cost to that.
No, that was an addendum. There's an addendum on that.
Okay, that's maybe the phone, cause I hadn't looked at it the first 2 years. You're right,
Yep.
this
we
year's a
wanted-
freebie.
Because they did the rate study and we planned out our annual user increases. What we wanted them to do is to come back next year and take a look at things and make sure that it really is playing out the way we expect it to.
Right.
And now you're starting to throw in clarifiers and all, it's a good thing they're coming in.
Well, they're gonna be doing that as part of this one, because, like I said, we've gotta get a handle on it.
So what's this, so this means, are we in the hole, we in the rears on this? Negative
No longer, because he's telling me these two items are not,
CWMP
are no
stuff.
longer due.
Okay.
Oh.
Good.
Okay.
And then we got the plant upgrade,
Yeah. And that's just in there to start tracking things.
phosphorus system, 724K.
So, we got $1 million in ARPA funds, and we have $1.5 million in debt, which is the 75,000 interest payment that we're making. We have spent 880,000 we've submitted to ARPA for the designs in the system. More to follow.
Wow.
All right, new project, the project update, let me tell you where we are on those. Let me see what projects are we talking about here. Okay. I&I investigation, as I said, we're gonna be pulling in zones 6 and 13, 9 and 13. To try to tack on, because it's just not worth going. Digest the piping update, we have to sign the contracts today, get them out, so no one leaves till we get out, you sign your life away. Spruce Street Pump Station, contracts are finally issued, work had recommenced, I went down today, they're not, no, they weren't there naturally, I didn't think they would be. And I don't expect they'll be there tomorrow, because that thing will be way underwater. But that's moving along, and that should be brought into speed. Tertiary system, we have a meeting the 16th. Generator is on schedule.
And you were gonna add something on that January 16th meeting? Oh,
The
Doug's
generator.
going to bid.
What I would like to do is discuss, do you need a meeting next week? For any other budgetary, a quick down and dirty?
No, if you're happy with what I've added for the budget, the only thing is going to be the Veolia contract. And then for the articles, I'm gonna pull the clarifiers, I'm just gonna pull that out of there. And we're good, I'm good to go.
How long is it take them to do the piping?
Well, piping's gonna take a while, just the lead time in the stainless is gonna be astronomical. We have a due date of, end of May of 2025 to have it up and running by the state. We're gonna be close, but as long as we get them going, once we sign these, I can call them in for a meeting. Okay, that was the 16th, you don't want, okay, now let's go on then to, the agenda for the 25th of what I have on the agenda. I think, the 24th, excuse me, Wednesday. I think Dave is gonna postpone it. Now, what we're gonna have to do is, I believe we're gonna have to vote on articles, or what do you have, or that's not till February?
No, that's good, yeah, it won't be till February when Doug puts the finals together.
Okay, because we
He
have a
knows
lot.
these are changeable,
Oh,
but they're on his radar so that they get on the list.
okay, but we have to bring the public up to date on the MEPA filing, the November EPA submittal, because we didn't meet. Review, I wanna give them an up-to-date list on review on where we stand for contracts. Not as far as contract, pending new connections, so we have it all up to speed for the new year.
Yeah, you know, for those connections, I think we have on our website, I think it's the old July.
That's what I was
list.
thinking, that's why I wanna update it.
Okay.
I
We'll
wanna
go
look
through
at
it
that.
and make it official.
I want you to give a quick update on what we've been doing at the working sessions, give them a budget update. I'll do a little blip on my fear of, and hopefully have some more information to assuage any panic. Project upgrades I'll do for now, but Mike, in the future you'll be doing. And we're gonna change all the meetings to Wednesdays. What I would like to have a discussion on, probably, I want you to think about it before the monthly meeting. We wanna meet during the days or evenings for now.
For monthly?
We're gonna be talking an awful lot of money, and I would think to be open and not have anyone point the finger and say, well, we didn't know, but that's my opinion. You guys gotta, hey!
Oh, jeez, I wasn't falling asleep.
You got to, just think about it, what you wanna do,
Yeah.
you know where I'm coming from.
So you mean, are you talking about having the public involved, the town of Rockland?
Public meeting is involved, they can watch it, they have the opportunity, for today, for instance, to come in and sit down.
Right, but when you say having the meetings during the day, during the workday, or during?
They can
The
come in,
monthly,
right,
he's
they
talking
can, but a
monthly.
lot of people bitch that they work.
Yeah,
And-
I favor the evening meetings for that reason.
Yeah,
And you know what I'm saying,
And
for
it's
those
easier on
that,
us because we can stay home and do it.
Robin can give us her updates on, during a working session. If there are abatements or anything, Mike could bring them up.
Right?
No, to minimize her coming in.
Right,
Rick and them, if he wants to work somewhere with, for the
Yeah.
short, not now, Mike, I'm talking
yeah,
long
no, I
term.
understand, yeah.
We could always have,
Yeah.
Rick give him the update.
Yeah, I can do that, yeah, that'd be fine, sure.
yeah, I like
And that way
that.
that we could meet in the evening, more people have this stuff. My feeling is, from the get-go, is once you start talking money, get it out in the open.
Yeah, and that does.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
Okay.
so, if you guys would stick around after the meeting, it's nothing, I guess we're gonna have to do an open session. Mike, again, you got a lawful lot coming at you. Go at your pace, as far as, involvement with other departments and that, I would say wait, and again, this is just me, I'd wait to get a handle on this.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
Okay.
All right, two things, question for you. As I work my way through this budget and capital planning, do you wanna be copied on all the emails?
absolutely,
Okay.
no, absolutely.
But know that I'll handle it.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Okay, and then when you want, just let me know and we'll sit down and
Well,
really get into the nuts
So
and
let me
bolts.
ask you a question, these emails that you're gonna copy me on, what is it, am I gonna understand it if I read the email?
Probably not.
You might now that you've seen and heard some of the conversation.
So what I would rather do is, again, trying to do everything step by step. Before you start copying me on those emails, I would rather have you and I sit down together to
Okay.
do a little more thorough
Yeah.
explaining.
Yep.
So that I have my act together before you do that, cause I just don't want you to send me an email and I look at it. I wanna read it, understand it, cause
I
I'm
like
not
it.
gonna understand it.
I like it.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind.
No, that's why.
And I'll
that's
take
why
that
I'm
with the
asking.
same
What
as
works
me.
for you?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm,
Cause I've got this for this year.
Well, no, and that's
I've got
fine,
this.
and I appreciate that, but again, I don't want to take on something and not be ready for it, and then I don't wanna take it on unless I understand it.
okay, based on that, which is, and I, so you know, that was my mode of thinking, that I don't wanna dump these projects on you with the upgrade and all this other stuff, and the other irons, until you get this down, so you
Yeah, right.
understand, and I
Again,
mean,
it's, you know,
Yeah, so it's,
administrative,
yeah,
right,
you have got to tell me if I start to back off or let you in, and again, my thing, again, what I told Mike, treat this as a separate business with the board of directors, he's the president of this company, and the taxpayer, the revenue, the taxpayer, the citizens are his stockholders.
that's right.
That's who he's ultimately responsible to.
okay.
You in a hurry? Go.
No, is it okay, so do you need me to stay here anymore?
No, with this, I'll take a motion in today's meeting.
Make the
No,
motion.
I have one more
Okay,
item,
sure.
just so that you know, as part of the stage one debt that we're taking on for the plant upgrade, we had to file something with Clean Water State Revolving Fund called the draft intended use plan, and our plan did make their list. So that's
That's good.
So
good,
what's that mean?
that's a good positive step towards getting
Means they've accepted the
approval
approval
from
for
the
the funding.
state. What that means is the state revolving fund will give us a lower interest rate,
Oh,
perhaps,
okay,
perhaps some
SRF funding
loan
is called.
forgiveness,
Nice.
something like that. So I just wanted
And so
to,
we qualify for 0% interest rate.
oh,
The
that should go on our
Right.
monthly agenda.
the 0%, okay, we'll do that.
And I'll put a nice little blip together.
Here's the only caveat to that, is phosphorus. If we trip on a nutrient, SRF goes out the window.
if we do what,
Trip on the nutrients, anything, the
so in other
phosphorus.
words, if we don't meet the limit,
Yeah.
okay, we
Bingo.
lose it, okay.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Motion.
Dan,
I
okay,
made motion.
second,
Second,
all in favor? Mr.
Yes.
Ross?
yes.
Yes, yes all around.